This video is about identifying expressions by degree and number of terms and adding and subtracting polynomials. So a degree is the highest exponent in a polynomial. So if it has a degree of 0, it's just a constant. So it's just going to look like a number, like -5 or -7. Those are both examples of a constant. A linear, which is a degree of 1, means it's going to have an x term somewhere. So something like 5x or -2x plus 3 are both examples of linear expressions. For a degree of 2, this is called a quadratic, which means it's going to have an x squared somewhere. So for example, -2x squared minus 9 or x squared plus 5x plus 6. A cubic means that it has a degree of 3, so it's going to have a cubed term. So something like x cubed minus 2x squared plus 10 or -x cubed are both examples of a cube. A quartic means that it's going to have a degree of 4, so something like 3x to the fourth or x to the fourth plus 10x. And then a quintic means it's going to have a degree of 5, so something like 6x to the fifth or -7x to the fifth plus 1. The other way that we can classify expressions is by the number of terms. So if it has one term, it's a monomial. So something like 5x or something like 12. Those are examples of monomials. Binomial, so like a bicycle, it's going to have two terms. Something like x cubed plus 10 or -3x minus 1. A trinomial, like a tricycle, has three terms. So something like x squared plus 7x minus 10. And then the last is anything that has 4 or more terms is going to be a polynomial. So something like 5x cubed minus 10x squared plus 5x minus 15. So let's look at completing the table given different functions. So the first one is 5x to the fourth minus 3x squared plus 12x. So our degree is 4 because that's the highest exponent in the problem. So if we have a degree of 4, that means this is a quartic by the number of terms. So a number of terms are separated by plus and minus signs. We have one term, two terms, three terms. So this is a trinomial. The next one, looking at the highest exponent, is 2, which means that it's a quadratic, and then it has one, two terms. So this is a binomial. The next one doesn't have an exponent, but does have an x. Remember, if there's no exponent, it's 1. So if it's a degree of 1, it is linear. And this is a monomial because there's only one term. There's no plus or minus sign separating anything. The next one has an exponent of 4. So our degree is 4, which means it's a quartic. We also have one, two terms. So this is a binomial. The next one has the highest exponent is 5, which that means it's a quintic. If we look at our terms, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, which means it's a polynomial. The next one, we have 5. There's no x's, which means that this is a degree of 0, and anything that's just a number is called a constant. And this has one term, so it's a monomial. And the last one, the highest exponent is a 3, which means that it's cubic, and it has 1, 2, 3 terms, so this means it's a trinomial. Now, when we do adding and subtracting polynomials, we've kind of done this already. When you're adding and subtracting polynomials, you are only combining like terms. A common like term means that it's the same variable to the same power. So 5x squared and 3x squared would be an example. When you combine like terms, the coefficients are added and subtracted, but the variables stay to the same power or degree. So in number 1, to get rid of the parentheses, we need to see if there's anything to distribute. Well, both of these have just a positive 1 in front. So when I distribute, everything stays the same, so I can just rewrite this all. So 5x cubed minus 3x squared plus 9 plus 3x cubed minus 5x squared plus 12. Now, when we combine like terms, we're going to start with the highest exponent. So our highest exponent is 3. So we have 5x cubed plus 3x cubed, which gets us 8x cubed. The next highest power is x squared. We have a negative 3x squared minus 5x squared, which gets us negative x squared. And then we have two constants. We have 9 and 12. 9 plus 12 gets us 21. None of these can be combined anymore because they all have different powers. So we're done with that problem. Number 2, the first parenthesis has a positive 1 out front, but the second parenthesis has a negative 1 out front. So I have to distribute positive 1. Everything stays the same. 10x squared plus, or 10z squared plus 5z plus 19. When I distribute negative 1, the signs are changing. So minus 3z squared plus 6z minus 2. So when I go to combine like terms, my highest exponent to start with is x squared. So 10x squared minus 3x squared gets us 7, or z squared. 5z plus 6z gets us 11z. And 19 minus 2 gets us plus 17. Number 3, in front of the first exponent's just a 1, so everything stays the same. 2w to the fourth plus 7w squared minus 11. The second set of parentheses has a 2 in front of everything, so when I multiply, I get 6w squared minus 18w plus 46. So now I can combine my like terms. I have a w to the fourth and nothing else, so I'm going to combine that with nothing, so leave it as w to the fourth. The next highest exponent I have is squared, so I have 7 squared plus 7w squared plus 6w squared, which gets me 13w squared. The next I have is just w, and there's no like term, so I'm going to just bring that down to minus 18w. And the last like term then is negative 11 plus 46, which gets us plus 35. Number 4, in front of the first set of parentheses is a 1. Instead of the second parenthesis is a negative 4. So when I distribute, I get 11x to the fourth plus 2x cubed minus 10x minus 24x cubed minus 20x squared minus 48x. So when I start to combine like terms, the highest exponent is 11 to the x to the fourth, and there's nothing else that goes with it, so we're just going to write 11x to the fourth. The next highest exponent is cubed, so I have 2x cubed minus 24x cubed, which gives me negative 22x cubed. Then I have an x squared term with the negative 20x squared, so I'm going to bring that down to negative 20x squared. And then I also have a negative 10x and a negative 48x that can be combined together to become negative 58x. Number 5. Now I have 3 sets of parentheses, so I need to look in front of each one to see what needs to be distributed. So for number 5, the first parenthesis, I'm going to distribute just the positive 1. The second set of parentheses, I'm going to distribute a negative 1 because there's a negative sign here. And the third set of parentheses, just a positive 1 because it's a plus again. So when I distribute, I get 4v squared plus 2 minus 3v minus 6 plus v squared minus 8v. So when I go to combine like terms, I have 4v squared plus v squared, which gets me 5v squared. I have negative 3v minus 8v, which gets me negative 11v. And I have 2 minus 6, which gets me negative 4. Number 6, in front of the first set of parentheses, I don't have anything, so it's just going to be a positive 1. The second set of parentheses, I have a 4, and the third set of parentheses, I have a negative 5. So when I distribute everything, I get 4k plus 9 plus 20k plus 12 minus 10k squared plus 15k. So when I combine like terms, the highest exponent is squared, and there's only one square term, so I'm just going to bring that down, negative 10k squared. Then I look at my k terms. I have 4k plus 20k plus 15k, which gives me plus 39k. And then I have two constant terms. I have a 9 and a 12, which gets me plus 21. So we can apply that to perimeter, because remember, perimeter means the distance around a figure. So to find the perimeter, all we have to do is add the sides of the figure. So in number 7, I need to know that my opposite sides are going to be congruent. So the top side is also going to be 4x minus 3, and the side on the left is going to be 2x plus 10x. So the opposite sides are going to be the same. So to find the perimeter, I'm going to add all those together. So P equals 2x squared plus 10x plus 4x minus 3 plus 2x squared plus 10x plus 4x minus 3. So when I combine like terms, I have 2x squared and 2x squared, which gives me 4x squared. I have 10x, 4x, 10x, and 4x. So 10 plus 4 plus 10 plus 4 gets me 28x. And I have a negative 3 and a negative 3, which gets me negative 6.